Here we go. Hope everybody's had a great weekend, great Saturday, great Sunday, great Friday. I think I did a live on Friday, I don't even remember. So hope everybody's had a great last couple of days, whatever number of days it's been. As y'all checking in, shout yourselves out. Shout yourselves out in the comments section. We're going to get into this in 30 seconds. We want to see if we can keep this 15 to 20 minutes. I'm trying to get to 15 minutes. I've been going longer. So as y'all checking yourselves in, again, shout yourselves out. Mozart Gates, what's going on? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, former now-year professional athlete, author of 27 books, including this book right here called Work on Your Game, and including this book called The Mirror of Motivation. I'm going to tell you how to get this book for free at the end of this presentation right here. And what we do here, in case y'all didn't know, I'm the head of Work on Your Game University. What we do here at Work on Your Game is we teach you how to take the tools you need to succeed in the sports world, the top 1% of the sports world. I'm not talking about making YouTube videos, but I'm talking about getting to the top 1% of the sports world. And we teach how you apply those tools that you need to do it in the mental game, teach how those apply in business, how they apply at work, how they apply in life. Swan Hotelier checking in from Canada. What's going on? Shout out to Canada. Periscope, shout yourselves out. Tap the screen. Let me get some hard action going or something over there. Cupertino is in the house. Mozart said the wordsmith is about to give out work. That's a fact. Now, today I'm talking about this subject of how to bet on yourself and win. Now, this is something that I've talked about in the past, but I want to talk about it again here today because right now as NBA free agency is going on, if you're watching this on replay, then it's obviously a different time period. But when NBA free agency is going on, or a lot of times I hear this in the sports world, and it might happen in other worlds too, but I notice it in the sports world because I pay more attention because I'm coming from being an athlete, that when someone is in a situation where they're kind of being counted out in the sports world, and people are not really paying attention to them, and they don't give them their chance, or people don't think they're going to succeed, or they think that people don't think they're going to succeed, and then they end up succeeding. Often we hear these stories, right? This player, they had no offers coming out of high school, and then they walked on at a JUCO, and then they ended up going to a D1, and then they end up winning the Super Bowl, or they get a big contract in the NBA, or they become an NBA champion, and then everybody's telling their story. Like everybody's telling that story of this person. Hey, look at this guy. Nobody believed in them. They weren't getting any looks. It didn't seem like they were going to be a success, but then they won, because they bet on themselves. They tried and they bet on themselves. And I saw this specifically with a guy by the name of Fred VanVleet, who got a big contract from the Toronto Raptors. At least I saw it yesterday. And he's a guard who had came out of Wichita State. And he had been a good player in college, but for whatever reason, he didn't get drafted coming into the league. So he ended up being undrafted, but obviously he got some tryouts with some teams. He ended up on the Raptors. And he has basically over the years earned his way into his position. He won an NBA championship, showed that he's a quality player, and the Raptors gave him a big deal yesterday. And I said, even on Twitter, I said he's probably worth more to the Raptors than he is to any other team in the league. For the Raptors to lose him would hurt more than for any other team to gain him. And that's not a knock on him. That's just what it is. And he's a person who, he talked about this, and people were posting his old tweet and his old videos from when he didn't get drafted, when he said, bet on yourself. Like, I'm betting on myself. I'm going to make a success. And he became a success, so now everybody's talking about it. He bet on himself and he won. The challenge with this, here's the challenge with this whole concept of bet on yourself. Actually, there's several challenges. One challenge, here's the first challenge. First one is that when somebody bets on themselves and wins, everybody talks about it and celebrates them like this person is all high and mighty and this person's great and everybody's celebrating it. But nobody talks about the people who bet on themselves and lose. Any of you ever been to Vegas or Atlantic City or any casino and you see people gambling, or any of you gamble online on sports or anything like that? All right, just because you bet doesn't mean you're going to win. So people talk about this bet on yourself thing as if betting on yourself is the key to success. No, betting on yourself is a possible way to get to success, but you might lose. Just because you bet doesn't mean you're going to win. All right, you ever played craps? You ever played roulette? You ever played poker, blackjack, slot machine, anything you can play in a casino? In general, overall, the house usually wins. That's why casinos make so much money. That's why people like to get in the casino business, because there's a lot of money to be made in casinos, because for the most part, the gamblers lose. So when people succeed and they say, well, I bet on myself, that's the reason why I succeeded. No, that's bullshit. That's not why you succeeded. You succeeded because you bet on yourself and you performed. But nobody talks about the performance aspect of betting on yourself. They always leave that part out because the performance part would alienate a bunch of people who are incapable of performing. So when somebody like Fred VanVleet says, bet on yourself, yes, that was half of what you did, Fred, but the other half was you could actually fucking play. All right, that's why you got the contract, because you can play, not because you bet on yourself. Because there are 1,000 players who bet on themselves trying to get to the NBA like him. You ain't never heard of them because they didn't even make it. All right, they bet, but they lost. So understand that this bet on yourself thing requires another step, which is you must actually perform and you have to win the bet. That's what I want to talk about here today. I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do to make sure that when you bet on yourself, you are actually successful. So you're not a person who bet on yourself and lost, following some motivational advice that you heard on the internet when they only gave you half the information. Now, a lot of people giving you half the information out here, they're not telling you the hard part. They're telling you the easy, fun part that makes you feel good, but they're not telling you the harsh reality part that if you don't do this, you're going to lose. So you could feel as good as you want to feel and be hyped up and motivated, but if you don't follow this part that they didn't tell you, you're going to come up short, and then you're wondering what the hell happened. I'm going to tell you what the hell happened before it happens. Now, the definition of betting, in case any of you didn't know, you never looked up betting in the dictionary. Definition of bet is to risk something on the basis of the outcome of a future event. Now, let's be clear. To win a bet, there are 3 things that you're going to need in place. I'm going to tell you all 3 of them right now. Number 1, since you're in a bet, understand something. You are not guaranteed of winning. I already made that clear, right? Just because you bet on yourself doesn't mean you're going to win. All right. Anybody here who's ever been to a casino, you have bet and you have lost. I guarantee you've tried and lost. So you got to have a purpose that is stronger than the logic, because the logic of betting is in the long run, you will lose. The house takes you. Y'all see the movie Ocean's 11? Y'all saw what Danny Ocean said to Rusty, or what George Clooney said to Brad Pitt. In the long run, the house always takes you. This is why casinos make so much money, because they usually win. So if you're going to bet and you plan on winning, your purpose, the thing that's going to push you through the challenges of that bet, the times that it looks like your bet's going to lose, your purpose needs to be stronger than the reason and the logic that says most gamblers end up losing. And this is a fact. Most gamblers do end up losing. They lose more money than they make. Your purpose got to be stronger than that. So I talked about this in a couple of my master classes. I got one that talks about how to stick to your purpose amidst the distractions of life, amidst the challenges of life. I got another master class where I talked about there are no deadlines on reaching your purpose. You can listen to all those if you go to workonyourgamepodcast.com. That's workonyourgamepodcast.com, the whole word. You can listen to those master classes, how to stick to your purpose, no deadlines on reaching your purpose. Those episodes number 677 and 469. So first of all, you got to have a very strong purpose to bet on yourself and win. Because once you bet and you start doing your thing to win that bet, I guarantee you're going to run into some roadblocks that you did not foresee when you first said you're going to bet on yourself. When everybody was hyping you up and telling you you can make it and don't feel bad and keep believing in yourself, there are some roadblocks you're going to run into that you didn't see up front. And you're going to have to push through those. You're going to need a little bit more than just betting. Now, you're going to need a little bit more than a few chips in your hand. You're going to need something in your heart. You're going to need something in your mind that's pushing you past the reason and the logic that says this is not going to work. All right, you got to be a little bit unreasonable. Point number 2, topic today is how to bet on yourself and win. You got to have your bag ready. And this is the part that, Fred VanVleet and your favorite NBA player or NFL All-Star or anybody who becomes successful and they tell you they became successful because they bet on themselves. This is the part they don't tell you, is that you got to have some skill. Now, you got to have ability. You're going to bet on yourself and write a self-published book and become a best-selling author. That book better be fucking good. All right, you're going to be an athlete and you're going to walk on and become a superstar and make the Hall of Fame. You got to be able to fucking play. All right, and these are the things that they don't tell you. They just say bet on yourself and they leave out the part that they got skills that you ain't got. So you got to have your bag ready. So when I say have the bag ready, the bag means your set of skills, your abilities, and your ability to perform and produce a result, because that's what you get paid for. Nobody on the face of this earth ever has gotten paid for betting on themselves. Nobody gets paid for betting on themselves. People get paid for performing when they bet on themselves. There's a boxer by the name of Bernard Hopkins from Philadelphia. He's actually related to my mom. So technically he could kind of sort of be my cousin, but I don't call him my cousin. I never even met the dude. But one time he had a boxing match. I forget who he was fighting. He might have been fighting Felix Trinidad back in this is like early 2000s. And might have been actually in the 90s. And he bet on himself. He literally bet on himself in the fight. And he ended up winning the fight. And one of the things that happened in that, and he had to put like the name of the betting, the company that he bet with, he put him on his back like a temporary tattoo, and they paid him a certain amount of money. And then he won the actual bet. And Floyd Mayweather is known as a famous bettor. He bets on himself in all of his boxing matches, and he wins money when he places the bets on himself, at least if he's allowed to do that. But one of the things that a lot of people never talk about is, listen, these guys got to perform. They got to win the fight to win the bet. It's not just placing the bet. You got to go out there and play. Fred VanVleet been in the NBA for how many years? 4, 5 years? However many years he been in the league. He had to be performing all of those years to get to the point that he was a free agent who was in high demand and a bunch of teams wanted him. And then he got the Raptors to give him all that money. That's because he can play. Now, that's because y'all saw the NBA Finals when they beat the Warriors. He can play. Y'all saw the playoffs last year. They didn't win, but he was doing his thing. The dude can play. Because he can play, they paid him. All right, it's not the bet they got him paid. Even though if you ask him, he's going to say, well, I bet on myself. And he might say something like he works hard on his game and things like that. But it's the skill, ladies and gentlemen. Do not forget the skill. Skill is something you should never leave home without. All right, it used to be a commercial back in the day. I think it was Visa, the credit card. It said, Visa, don't leave home without it. Skill, don't leave home without skill. All right, don't go nowhere in the world planning to bet on yourself. Don't bring your money somewhere and forget your skill back at home, because you're going to come back home with no money and your skill still sitting in the living room. Leave with the skill and you'll come back with the money. So make sure that you got some tools in your bag. You got some tools in your toolkit, so that when there's a job that needs to be done, you have the ability to execute on it and actually produce a result. In life, I know I'm the guy who talks about work on your game. I want y'all to understand that work on your game is only the first step in the process. Working on your game is not the last thing you do, it's the first thing you do. You work on your game first, then you create an opportunity for yourself, then you get to show off your game, then you get the results. If you produce results, then you get the next thing, which is the rewards. So whether that's the fame, the money, the attention, the followers, whatever it is you like. Work, opportunity, performance, results, rewards. Everybody got that? That's the 5-step process. I'll probably do a masterclass on that exact topic. So you got to have the 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, focus. You got to put all these in anything that you got. Fred VanVleet, Floyd Mayweather, they have put that in. They put the time in. They've invested in themselves with money. They have given the energy to working on their game. They have paid attention to what they got to do, and they're focused when they're doing their work. That's how they get good, not just because they place the bet. All right, don't let anybody tell you that placing the bet is how you become successful. That's bullshit. That's what people tell you, but they don't know how to explain it. Point number 3, you got to sell out to win. You're betting on yourself. You got to go all in on that bet. You got to take all your chips and push them into the middle of the table on that one roll with the dice, like George Clooney did and Brad Pitt and those guys in Ocean's 11, like Fred VanVleet did in playing basketball, like Floyd does in his boxing matches, like fill in the blank person does when they put everything in on what they're doing to become successful. You got to sell out to win. And selling out is not a bad thing. To sell out means you take everything that you got and you put it all into making this thing work. And because you put everything you have into it, you have no choice but to make it work. You put yourself in a position where your back's to the wall, and unless you make this work, you fail. You usually find a way to succeed. So sell out in this case does not mean, I'm not trying to demean you and say you're a sellout. You gave up everything just to try to get into a certain spot. You sold out in a good way to get to where you want to go. All right. If you're betting on yourself, it better be worth it. All right. Don't bet on yourself for something that you're not in enough in order to get that outcome. Okay. It got to be worth giving up everything you've got to get it. To take all the stuff you've been focusing on, cut those out, focus on this. Cut these things out, focus on that. Forget about that person over there, focus on this. If you're going to win your bet, these are the things that you must do. The most important part of all this is the performance. Don't let anybody tell you to do one thing but not tell you the other part of it. Because if somebody tells you something that sounds too good to be true, too easy, just bet on yourself and everything's going to work, nah. That's because, and again, I don't think they're trying to mislead you. I think they just can't explain what they can't explain. And that's why they're the players, and that's why I could do this right here, work on your game. And I played too, but I could do this as well. I got more than one skill. And if they got more than one, I don't know, but they're doing their thing. So all that being said, I'm going to tell you how to get this book free right now. Then I'm going to recap my points. And if you got a question on anything that I've said, post it in the comments section. I'm going to address it as soon as I get done with this. This book right here is called The Mirror of Motivation. The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline is the subtitle. This is the first book of mine that you should read. I made this book free, so all you need to do to get it is go to mirrorofmotivation.com, without the word the, mirrorofmotivation.com. All you do is take care of a small shipping charge. I will take care of the rest, and we will ship this book to you worldwide, anywhere that you live. The reason why you want this book is because if you're listening to me, you have goals, and if you're listening to me, you're willing to work hard. The challenge is you've never asked yourself a different question, which is, who do I need to be? What type of person do I need to be? What kind of energy do I need to have? How do I need to see myself when I look in the mirror? How do I want other people to feel about me when they come across me? When you answer that question, then all your hard work will start working. Because if you're a person who works hard right now and you feel like you're not getting the ROI for your work, is because you haven't answered the question, who do I need to be? It's not because you need to work harder. It's not because you have the wrong goals. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because you never asked yourself the key question that most people never even think about, which is, who do I need to be? This book will provide you the frameworks for you to answer that question fully and completely, and in a way that this book will always be with you. All right, the stuff you read in this book, it'll be easy to remember, easy to understand. You don't have to carry the book around with you, but you'll want to. This book will help you with the frameworks for who you need to be, so then you can do what you need to do, so then you get the results that you want to have in your life. So if that sounds like something that you need, who do I need to be? Go to mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is already paid for. All you do is cover a small shipping charge. I'll ship this book to you worldwide, anywhere that you live. Mirrorofmotivation.com. All that said, let me recap these points, how to bet on yourself and win. Number one, it's a bet, which means you are not guaranteed to win. So you better have a purpose that is stronger than the logic that you will probably lose. And most bets lose. This is why casinos make so much money. The house always takes you. Number two, you got to have your bag ready. This is the most important part that a lot of people who reach success don't talk about, is they got to fucking perform. You must produce a result. If you do not produce results, nobody cares that you bet. Nobody cares how hard you work. Nobody cares that you're motivated. Nobody cares that you want it. Nobody cares that you deserve it. Nobody cares about any of that if you do not produce results. When you produce results, you get paid. What Fred VanVleet got paid for was the results that he produced, not anything else. And don't let anybody tell you anything other than that. Number three, you got to be willing to sell out to win. Selling out means taking all your resources, time, money, attention, energy, focus, the 5 forms of investment, and investing them in winning this bet. If you put everything you got into making sure you win a bet, you'll probably end up winning. But most people aren't willing to sell out to win a bet because they're afraid of actually losing. And this is why most people shouldn't bet in the first place. So they kind of work with each other and they can work against each other in the same way. All that being said, if you got a question, I'm going to address them right now. I don't know if I got any questions. If somebody got a question, go ahead and post it right now. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to post this question. Let me see if we got any. Mozart Gates, what's going on? Adam Moody, what's up? Now, nobody posted a question. So again, mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is paid for. All you do here is cover the shipping. Mirrorofmotivation.com. Everybody have a great Sunday. Join us at Work on Your Game University. If you're ready to take the next step, I appreciate you, Ballaholic. If you're ready to take the next step, after you got the being part right and the doing thing and if you're ready to go, work on your game, get your game shown off to who needs to see it, and then get a ROI for your game. When I say ROI, I mean return on investment. Get paid for your game, get recognized for your game, get the right audience for your game. What you need to do is go to workonyourgameuniversity.com so we can show you how to do that. We got different levels. We got something for everybody. You get the whole Work on Your Game system as soon as you join. You get to join our community. You get daily text messages from me. You get the monthly Work on Your Game magazine and a whole lot of other stuff. I'm not going to explain it all here. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. The link is in my bio on IG. I think it's the Work on Your Game University link. Let's do it. We out here. Work on your game. Dre all day.